Some people have many friends, some have a few, and some have none at all. In a world that constantly celebrates connection, having no friends is often seen as a problem. People assume something must be wrong. That loneliness is inevitable. That happiness is impossible without a social circle. Social media reinforces this belief. Photos of group dinners, birthday gatherings, shared moments, public proof of belonging. So when someone has few or no friends, they are often misunderstood, quietly judged, or silently pitied. But psychology tells a more complex story. Having few or no friends does not automatically mean someone is broken. It does not mean they are antisocial, and it does not mean they are unhappy. In many cases, it reflects how a person manages energy, how they process emotions, and how they relate to trust. This is not about judging, not about labeling, and not about saying this way of living is better or worse. It is about understanding why, for some people, having fewer connections feels more natural than forcing many. Sometimes, having fewer connections is not a failure. It is simply a different way of being human. For many people, social interaction feels energizing. They leave conversations feeling lighter, more alive, more connected. But for others, social interaction costs energy. Not physical energy, but mental and emotional energy. Conversation requires attention. Listening requires presence. Responding requires timing, tone, and emotional awareness. For some people, this process is stimulating. For others, it slowly drains them. Even when the interaction is pleasant, even when nothing goes wrong, they leave conversations feeling tired, not fulfilled. Because of this, they become selective. They do not socialize by default. They socialize intentionally. They choose fewer interactions, shorter interactions, or none at all. Not because they dislike people, but because they understand their limits. Psychologically, this is a form of self-regulation. They are not avoiding people. They are protecting their internal balance. From the outside, this can look like distance, or coldness, or lack of interest, but internally it is careful management. They are conserving themselves. Many people rely on friends to process emotions. They talk things out, they vent, they seek reassurance. They ask, "Am I overreacting?" But some people process emotions differently. When something hurts, they sit with it. When something confuses them, they think it through alone. This does not mean they feel less. Often they feel more. They simply do not externalize emotions as quickly. Over time, this builds emotional self-sufficiency. They learn how to calm themselves without immediate validation. They learn how to regulate sadness, anxiety, and frustration on their own. They become familiar with their inner world, their thoughts, their patterns, their emotional signals. From the outside, this can look like emotional distance. But internally, it often comes from long experience with solitude. They know how to be with themselves. They are used to being their own emotional anchor. For some people, connection only feels meaningful when it has depth. Casual check-ins feel empty, small talk feels repetitive, maintaining surface-level relationships feels like effort without meaning. They are not looking for company. They are looking for resonance, a sense of understanding, a feeling of being seen without performance. If that depth is missing, they often prefer no connection at all. This is why they may appear to have no friends. In reality, their standards for connection are simply high. They value quality over quantity, depth over frequency. When genuine connection is rare, solitude becomes the more honest option. This is not isolation. It is selectivity. Many people fear silence. Silence feels awkward, empty, like something needs to be filled. But some people experience silence differently. To them, silence is neutral. Sometimes it is calming. Solitude does not automatically trigger loneliness. It creates space, space to think, space to notice, space to exist without performing. They do not feel the need to narrate their lives. They do not feel pressure to share every moment. Psychologically, this suggests a strong internal world. They are not dependent on constant external stimulation to feel grounded. This comfort with solitude is rare in a culture built on interaction, and it is often mistaken for sadness, when in reality it is stability. For many people, friendship provides validation, being invited, being included, being remembered. But some people validate themselves internally. Their sense of worth is less tied to social feedback. They do not constantly ask, "Do people like me? Do I belong? Am I missing out?" This does not mean they never feel doubt. It means doubt does not control them. They do not measure their value by the size of their social circle. As a result, they feel less pressure to maintain relationships for appearances alone. They would rather be alone than perform connection. From the outside, this can look like detachment, but psychologically, it reflects strong inner grounding. It is important to say this clearly: having few or no friends is not always healthy, and it is not always unhealthy. Context matters. For some people, solitude is chosen. For others, it is circumstantial. For some, it feels peaceful. For others, it feels painful. This is not saying that everyone with no friends fits this description. It explains why some people genuinely function well with very little social connection. Difference does not mean defect. Not everyone needs the same amount of connection to feel whole. Some people regulate through interaction, others regulate through distance. Some build meaning socially, others build it internally. People with few or no friends are often misunderstood because their needs do not match the social norm. But psychology reminds us of something important. There is more than one healthy way to live. And sometimes fewer connections do not mean less humanity. They simply mean a different relationship with the world.